Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Don't Argue the Toss challenge. This challenge was so much fun. What we were meant to do was take things that we were about to throw away and keep it and repurpose it into something new and beautiful again. So that's what I tried to do for you today. This challenge is hosted by Giulia with Crafting with Giulia. And I just want to thank her for letting me be a part of this today. So for my first DIY, I took these candles here that I had forever, burned them down till there was absolutely no wick left to burn. I love them. You can get them at Walmart, and they smell so good, like as good as the really high dollar ones. So anyway, I threw them in the trash and then thought about it and thought, no, you know what? Those would make pretty votives. So I pulled them out, soaked them in some hot water, and that did three things. It loosened up oh, come on, Brenda, get your head straight. Loosened up the candle. It loosened up the stickers on the front and the price tags on the bottom. So once they sat in the water for about 5 or 10 minutes, I pulled them out and I took the candles out. Once I got the candles removed, I took the stickers off and then the price tags off the bottom and added some soapy water to the inside so that I could get all of the smut out of the jars. And I would say it probably took me about maybe 15 or 20 minutes for the whole process of deciding to keep them and having them clean and ready to go. So once I got the jars good and dried off and ready to paint, I went over to my little crafting section, and it is a hot mess right now. But I had these little candlesticks that I got from the Goodwill for like $0.10 a piece. And I cleaned them up really good, and then I grabbed my jars and got them ready to go. Now, I didn't want to just leave them plain because then they would still look like a candle jar. So I tried to disguise it by taping off a couple of sections on each of the jars and painting it with some black paint. Now, they were different stripes. They didn't match, and that was intentional. And I did that to just try to give them a little bit of character, like I said, and disguise the fact that they were salvaged candles. So once I got the black stripe on there, on each one of them, I was really pleased with the way they turned out. And I had intended to take a chalk pen and write something on there, but they were so cute after I got through, I just really didn't see the need in writing anything on them. However, I could go back if I wanted to, or I could take one of my chalk stencils and chalk something across that little black band. That's always an option. But once I got that done, I went ahead and painted the candlesticks. I painted them both with the white Waverly chalk paint, and then I distressed them down with what was left on my brush from the black paint that I did the stripes with. Once I got that done, I took some Gorilla Glue and some hot glue, and I glued the jars to the top of these candlesticks. And that was all there was to making the candlesticks. So for one of the jars, I had some old eucalyptus picks that are a eucalyptus pick. And oh yes, and I also used some ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's the farmhouse, and it has the picture of the pigs and the cows and stuff like that on it. I wrapped that around the candlestick and made a bow. And then I filled one of them with some of that eucalyptus, and I put a green candle in the other one. And I chose those colors because I was putting it on a shelf that I made for my kitchen remodel a little while back. And I'm going to show you how cute they looked as soon as I get them finished. I'm going to show you the whole wall that I designed these candles to go on. And I would love to know down in the comments what you think about this trash to treasure here and how you think it turned out. So that's a little candle, Dollar Tree, of course. So I have what, 20 cent, $1.20, $2.20. I've got it like maybe $2.50 in those candlesticks, and look how stinking cute they are. And that was the wall that I was trying to make them match when I did my kitchen remodel a few months, well, several, like last year actually, about the same time. Now, this right here was definitely one for the trash. It was so old and it stunk so bad from, I don't know if you've ever smelled old wood, but it takes on like all of the nasty smells around it. Now, I tried to salvage the back side of that right there by using some plastic wood. I went through all of that hassle, all of that work, and I added the plastic wood according to the directions and everything, let it dry for a couple of days and sanded it down, and it just never stuck. So what I ended up doing, and I don't show this on camera, is I just took that veneer off of that side of that little magazine rack and smoothed it back down with my sander. But you can see here, I gave it a good shot. I mean, I tried my best to salvage it, and it just wouldn't work. So I fixed the legs. Now, that worked perfectly. That stuff, when it dries, turns into like a wood. Now, once I got it done, I brought it in and cleaned off all of the dust from sanding it. Got it all cleaned up and ready to go. And then I went in with my white Waverly chalk paint. And I want to say, see the back of it right there? You can see where I ended up taking off all of that veneer. So once I got everything wiped down and ready to paint, I decided I'd better put some gloves on and roll up my sleeves because y'all know I make a mess. So I went in with my white Waverly chalk paint. I want to say it took 2 coats, if I remember right. And there's my honey coming to save the day. And after I put those 2 coats of chalk paint on there, you know I have to distress everything down to make it farmhousey. So I took some truffle chalk paint and distressed it down. But I could not believe the difference in the way this looked in the beginning and the way it looked when I was finished. I was so proud of the way this turned out. And instead of throwing it away because of that veneer breaking off of the back, and it looked horrible. I mean, it looked horrible. And like I said, it just stunk to me. But it got rid of the smell, and I got rid of all of the horrible stuff that was peeling and everything. And like I said, I took my truffle and I went in and I distressed it all down. And I also went on to my Cricut and made the cutest little monogram stencil. And it was just a little circle with some flowers on it with a C for the middle. Because you guys know my name is Brenda Cochran, or Brenda Smith Cochran, because I kept my middle name, my maiden name, as my middle name for my legal name. Anyway, C is my initial, my last initial. So I got it ready and I transferred it from the sticker to my, what is that thing called? Magazine rack. And I thought it turned out so stinking cute. And I was so proud that I did not throw it away. Now, once I got that on there, I went back and I went over the entire thing with a coat of Mod Podge. And that was to seal my paint in and to seal down my little stencil that I put on there and make sure that it wouldn't peel off. So after I got everything covered in the Mod Podge and let it dry really good, it was done and ready for display. And I don't think I could have been any more proud of salvaging something, that's me putting the Mod Podge on, than I was saving this. And when I pulled it out of my barn to throw it away, you would have agreed that that's where it needed to be, was in the trash. But tell me what you think down in the comments about me turning this one from trash to treasure. I probably like this one the most out of all 3 projects that I've done for you today. And this is actually still in my den beside the recliner with some magazines in it. So I think it's been about a year ago that I did this. But like I've been saying recently, so many people have subscribed to my channel since then that these were hardly viewed. I might have had 50 or 60 views on this particular video, if I remember right. Maybe a little more, but not much. So I've been trying to go back and show you some things that I did while I haven't been feeling really good, and yet still putting some stuff out there for you to see. So for the third and final one, we're sticking with the same sort of thing right here. I had bought this too years and years and years ago, and it had been thrown out in the barn, ready to take to the dump. Now the legs were coming apart, and it was a hot mess, but not quite as bad as the second DIY I did. So this one wasn't as hard to save as the other one was. So I cleaned up all of the broken parts and salvaged it all back together, did the same thing, sanded it down, brought it inside, cleaned it really good with some, like a wet rag to get all of that sawdust off of there. And I did the same exact thing with this one that I did with the other one, except I did not put any sort of stencil on it. But I did paint it a couple of times, cut a couple of good coats with the white Waverly chalk paint. And I did go back in and distress it with the truffle chalk paint. And now, this has really made me rethink some of the things that I have thrown away or given to the Goodwill in the past. I was so proud of the way all three of these came out, and never in a million years would you think that something could be salvaged until you really stop and take the time to put a little bit of work and elbow grease in to make it beautiful again. So let me know down in the comments which one of these three were your favorite. How do you think I did on this challenge? And be sure when you get through with my video that you go to the playlist and watch everybody else. Now, if you are here from the playlist today for the first time, welcome to Monner's Market. My name is Brenda, but my beautiful grandbabies call me Monner. Everybody always wants to know where Monner came from. That's just my grandma name. If you have never been here and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider sticking around. Hit that subscribe button, click the little bell, and click the all option. And YouTube should notify you every time I upload something new. But either way, if you like what you've seen today, definitely give me a big thumbs up. I just wanted to say one more time, thank you to Giulia for allowing me to be a part of this playlist. Now, be sure you go down, click on the link that says playlist, and go see what everybody else has made for you today. And let's see what got dug out of the garbage to make into these treasures. So thank you for coming to Monner's Market. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.